get boom, boom, boom.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the star of our show, direct from the bar,
PB.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, I want to show you guys a couple of things because people have been asking me about this recently. If you're in my group on Facebook, they want to share videos and they're having a hard time. Let me show you something. So here's a group and there's a video. Let's say you like this video and you want to share it. It doesn't have a share option here, but what you can do is go and click and go into the video, right? See how this is the video? Go up here, see this? All you have to do is just right click, copy it. Let's say you're on Facebook and you want to post it on Facebook, or if you want to post it on Twitter, wherever you post, all you got to do is go there and hit paste, and there you go. The video is copied for you to share if you want to share it. Okay, and I don't have any problems with anybody sharing my videos, obviously, so feel free to do so. But a lot of people are saying, I can't share your videos. That's how you share it. Just go into the video, go up here, the URL, right click it, copy it, and paste it wherever it is you want to post it. Okay, I've been listening to a lot of other content creators trying to get this word out, and I want to make sure that this word gets out too. So this is kind of a little hodgepodge of things, but there is some real security risk out there that I think we should all be aware of. But not just that, but I want you to really listen to what some of these politicians are saying closely, because people are out there voting for them and not paying attention to what they're saying. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it.
This isn't being blasted everywhere between creators and the news, but everyone needs to share this. Opening up the southern border and allowing it to go unchecked for years and millions of people coming in that weren't vetted had to be the biggest act of treason in American history, and I'm about to tell you why. Because Al-Qaeda is in this country right now. The National Counterterrorism Center just put out a memo about this to all law enforcement. Over 1,000 highly trained operatives from Al-Qaeda have gotten into this country via the southern border. They have come from training camps all throughout the Middle East, and they are confirmed to be planning a massive multi-city attack. They are also uniformed to be disguised as law enforcement, first responders, and medical employees. These individuals want to obliterate Western civilization, and they can do it because we cannot find them because of our previous open border. We have no idea who they are, but it is confirmed that they are here and planning these attacks. So if you are someone that lives in a major city or work around a major hub, you need to stay off your phone in public, be vigilant, especially around hospitals, police cars, etc. You need to be aware of your surroundings, make sure that your law enforcement is up to date on this information, and be aware of any confirmed or theorized sleeper cells. This is a very, very, very real threat. None of this has been exaggerated. And be aware that the goal of these attacks is mass casualty. Again, I do not say this lightly. I have no idea why nowhere is covering it on the news or on social media. It's literally nowhere. Maybe it's because they don't want to scare people, send people into a panic and shut down the country, but the public deserves to know this information. Again, this is coming from our highest level of intelligence. It has been confirmed, and there's really not much that we can do considering we cannot track these people. Terrorists, please be cautious.
So I've heard this warning by several people, not just content creators, but even some independent journalists. And, I did a video, you guys, in case you missed it. Go back to yesterday, the one about the Mandawi, or whatever the fuck his name is, that wants to run for the mayor of New York. Get away from the fact that he's pushing socialist ideas. That alone should keep him from being in office. But right now, he's a favorite to win. That's not his goal. This man is a Muslim. He wants to bring Islam over into New York. That's what they do. They take over your cities and then start voting themselves into office. And it starts at that level. And then they work their way into Congress. That's why I'm saying I wish they would pass an amendment to our Constitution. You have to be an American-born individual in order to be president. You should have to be American-born in order to run for any office at any level, whether it's the state and local or the federal. You have to be an American-born citizen because foreigners don't always share our traditions and our culture. Look at Rashida Tlaib. You can look at Ilhan Omar. These people do not share our culture. And as a matter of fact, they talk bad about the United States. So why would you want people who hate America into political office? I don't get it. But you need to go back and watch that video because they have been taking over city after city after city.
And one of the things that we've said, beyond saying that we're going to make this a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus workers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million in funding for gender-affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work. And in this moment especially, if we want to fight the Trump administration, we have to do so by fully funding our own services, taxing the wealthiest New Yorkers and corporations here.
So Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is visiting the White House as we are talking today. He addressed the UN General Assembly here just a few days ago in New York. Now, the International Criminal Court has a warrant out for his address. They say that they accuse him of crimes against humanity. You have called, as I mentioned, Netanyahu's actions in Gaza genocide. It's going to become not just a rhetorical, but a question rooted in reality if you are mayor. As mayor of New York, you will oversee the next UN General Assembly, right, if you're mayor. Will you abide by the International Criminal Court? Will you have Prime Minister Netanyahu arrested if he's here?
Look, I've said time and time again that this is a city that believes in international law. This is a city whose values are ones that deserve to actually be reflected in our commitments. And I think that our city should uphold the warrants the International Criminal Court issues, whether it be for Benjamin Netanyahu or Vladimir Putin. And also, I am not Donald Trump. I will follow the laws as they are, as opposed to bend them to my own will. So we will pursue every legal avenue to ensure that that accountability is present.
Okay, this guy is an idiot. He's talking about how he'll recognize international law. Well, there's a couple of things about that.
Universality and international law. As I explained to you guys the other day, international law is not real. It does not exist. If you are a citizen of the United States, you have to abide by the laws of the United States. The international law is nothing. It is basically a giant farce.
So this guy is talking about usurping Donald Trump, going around him and arresting these people. Can you imagine him arresting Bibi or Putin in the United States? That'll cause a fucking war. This guy is an idiot.
He has attacked you personally and publicly like this.
He's not a socialist. He's a communist, okay? This is not a socialist, man. This is a communist.
I don't like to see a communist become mayor, I will tell you that.
I call him my little communist. He's my little communist mayor. We should never be in a position where we're talking about a communist.
We're going to end up with a communist mayor. It's not even believable, my beautiful New York. I think if a communist takes over New York City, I think that's a gift to the Republican Party.
Last time you were on this program, you were unequivocal in saying you do not like capitalism. But Trump, just in those remarks there, I counted, called you a communist 8 times. Are you?
No, I'm a democratic socialist. I've said that time and again. What I've found is that this vision of democratic socialism, it's one that often comes back to what Martin Luther King said decades ago. A vision of, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism, there must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country.
Notice how Democrats always bring up civil rights leaders, quote civil rights, or they attack Republicans, calling them white supremacists, saying that they're Jim Crow 2.0, shit like that. People get tired of that crap after a while.
Here in New York City, wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, 1 in 4 are in poverty. 500,000 kids go to sleep hungry every night. It's untenable to live with this kind of a divide. We have to actually have a politics that puts working people first.
Yes, Assemblyman, you're running for mayor of New York and not prime minister of Israel, but you've made inflammatory statements like calling Israel an apartheid state and questioning its right to exist as a Jewish state. Just this week, you were evasive with a reporter about condemning Hamas. Given New York has the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, why should voters who see this as a moral red line trust your clarity and judgment?
Well, I really appreciate this question and an opportunity to just clear up, I think, a number of misconceptions. First and foremost, you're right. I am running to be the mayor of the city, and this city will be the focus of my administration, ensuring that we make this a city everyone can afford and everyone knows that they belong to. And also, millions of New Yorkers, myself included, care deeply about what's happening in Israel and Palestine.
Now, in the last video, I warned everybody about these people who have Islamic background getting into power. They are obligated by Islam to implement Sharia law. It's not just made up. And I don't want to hear people go, oh, they can never do that to Americans, because you're wrong. They can't, and they've been doing it. They've taken over a handful of cities, and they've already implemented Sharia law.
About the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue, so I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that, to have meaning, have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question and the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have. Do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me, especially in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears, and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%.
But very quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president, who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed, putting them in jail for protesting. Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's language I understand there are concerns about. And what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my words and my actions.
I call this for students of justice in Palestine.
We must organize at every level.
It is our job to destroy imperialism, destroy the United States.
For greater empires of destruction have fallen before, and so will these.
The struggle for Palestinian liberation was at the core of my politics and continues to be.
BDS! BDS! What up?
Because in the United States, what we do know is that in the past election, just this last election, there have been over 800 Muslim candidates running for office.
Britain is Darul Harb because they are, anathema to God's law. They're not implementing it, they're violating His sanctity, and therefore this is war against Allah and His Messenger. We are obliged as Muslims to take the authority away from the people who have it and implement the Sharia. Now I hope that can come in a very peaceful way. I hope that we can do that in a way, where there's no bloodshed. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, if the Muslims have authority and they have the ability to remove oppression, they must remove the oppression. So we believe man-made law is oppression, because they are implementing non-Islamic law, violating their own sanctity. So, if we are in a position of power and authority, we are obliged to take that authority, with the minimum force and to implement the Sharia, certainly.
It gets no clearer than that. He's pushing socialism, but that's not his ultimate goal. Don't be fooled by that. And the people in New York are about to put this man right into office.
For those of you who think that digital ID sounds convenient, let me warn you what happened in India, where over 1 billion people were forced into a system like this. It became one of the largest disasters of the century. In India, the government linked people's food rations, pensions, and even hospital access to a digital ID system. The problem? Criminal networks learned how to hack and manipulate biometric data. When fingerprints didn't match, or when hackers swapped someone's identity, people were locked out of survival. Entire families were denied food. In just one state, at least 24 people starved to death after being cut off from rations. Some elderly pensioners went months with no income because their IDs were hijacked. Victims reported going to the store only to be told your fingerprint doesn't match, no food for you. Others went to hospitals and were turned away because their ID had been cloned. Imagine being sick, hungry, or elderly, and a glitch or a hacker takes away your right to live. This wasn't just a glitch here or there. Organized criminal groups exploited the system, stealing benefits, rerouting funds, and selling fake identities. At one point, millions of fake accounts were uncovered, used to siphon money meant for the poor. A system sold as secure ended up creating a black market for identities where the poor suffered and criminals thrived. This is the real danger of digital ID. It's not about safety or protecting children. It's about control and exploitation. Once everything you need to live, food, money, medicine, is tied to a single ID, all it takes is an error or a criminal to cut you off. India's experiment showed us what happens: hunger, fraud, and preventable deaths. Don't think it can't happen elsewhere. Digital ID isn't security, it's a weapon waiting to be used against you.
So here's the thing, we got less than 5 years to stop them, or we'll never have another chance. Agenda 2030 isn't some conspiracy theory. It's written down, and it's written in their words. They come right out and they tell us exactly what they're going to do. It's a one world government, one world cashless currency, one world central bank, one world military, social credit scores that the government can use to turn off your bank account. Vietnam just deleted 86 million bank accounts of people who refused to get their digital ID. They just deleted them. Wonder where that money went. If you're not paying attention, you probably don't know that England is putting people in prison for social media posts like memes and fucking comments. This is the trajectory that we're headed. Dude just got put in federal prison in England for saying that he didn't want his tax dollars prioritizing illegal immigrants instead of being used for the betterment of his own countrymen. Listen, if you don't start standing up and saying something like I am, this will be the end of national sovereignty. It will be the end of privately owned property. They're literally telling people in other countries that if you don't accept digital IDs, you're going to be excluded from society. That's what they're telling them. That means they won't allow you to board a train, to get on a plane, to go to work. They won't allow you to do the things that you would normally do if you don't accept their digital ID. I'm telling you that they won't allow you to pay your fucking mortgage without providing them a digital ID number. They'll take away your home for non-compliance. They'll disallow or remove your children from school. This isn't a joke. This is what's happening right now. We have less than 5 years to do something about it. If you don't recognize how serious this is, you're not paying attention. This is what they're doing. They won't allow you to register your cars. They'll turn you away from medical care. And they'll do all this while they're telling you that you're not being forced to do anything. It's your choice, right? Like it was your choice 5 years ago with the jab. Remember that? This is how they institute the new normal. This is how they end the family unit. This is how they force mandatory schmaxinations. This is how they introduce universal basic income. This is how they introduce microchipping, a global credit system. This is what they want. This is what they're building right now. And they're coming right out and they're telling you thousands of 5G towers, the end of private transportation, the end of private farms, businesses run by the government, travel restrictions, restricted land use. You think this is far-fetched? Take a look around and wake the fuck up. They already tested it in 2020 with the lockdowns, restrictions, fear campaigns, government-run media, and most people complied without a second thought. That was the dress rehearsal. That was the warm-up round. 2030 is their final act. But here's the thing. It was all supposed to go down in 2015, but they missed their deadline. So they pushed it back to 2020. Then they missed that too. And what does that tell you? See, it tells me that we're much more fierce of an opponent than they ever realized. They didn't account for level-headed, logical thinking, like-minded brothers like us to dig our heels in and say, fuck you. But it's not good enough. And their efforts will only get more aggressive, more pronounced, and more relentlessly egregious towards dissenters. And here's the truth. If we don't fight back now, if we don't raise our voices, if we don't refuse to comply, if we don't build strength and unity in our own communities, then when the curtain drops, it's over. We won't get another chance. This is bigger than politics. This is about freedom. This is about sovereignty. This is about whether your kid and your grandkids get to live free or as digital slaves in a system that is designed to own them. You want to stop it? It starts with courage. It starts with men and women who refuse to kneel at the feet of our supposed overlords. It starts with you. Stay awake, stay strong, stay sharp, and don't ever back down. Join the rest of us who see the writing on the wall and who want to maintain our freedom, our liberty, and our sovereignty. It's time that we all link arms and stand shoulder to shoulder. Because if we don't, we'll spend the rest of our lives looking back with regret. And regret is a diabolical bitch.
If somebody has offended 6, 7, 8 times, even if it's a minor offense, but they continue to fail to turn their life around, at what point do you balance public safety to giving this person, some accountability? What is that balance?
So let me make something very clear. I was the one that sponsored the ban the box legislation when everyone opposed it because the criminal system has had a disparate impact on black and brown communities.
That's a Democrat. Notice how they always bring racism into everything? Let me start this over so you can figure out what they're talking about.
If somebody has offended 6, 7, 8 times, even if it's a minor offense, but they continue to fail to turn their life around, at what point do you balance public safety to giving this person, some accountability? What is that balance?
So let me make something very clear. I was the one that sponsored the ban the box legislation when everyone opposed it because the criminal system has had a disparate impact on black and brown communities. Let me lead with that. So when this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry. So my remedy is to find their life story to see how we could help first. I have no desire to put them in jail. But I need to protect you, and that's the calibration that we have. I put police officers on the stand. I've cross-examined them. So whether they commit 7 or 8 crimes to me is not the issue. The issue is why are they committing these crimes? And so we have a health-based strategy. We authorized our fire department, for example, to be the first fire department in the country to administer buprenorphine. I want these people treated. So for me, it's not 7 or 8. It's how do I stop? How do I go upstream to find out what's in their life? But at the end of the day, I also have to protect you, and that's the calibration that we've done. And we are best practice in this country in doing it.
Yep, you heard him right. He don't care that a criminal's been let out 6, 7, 8 times. He wants to sit them down and know about their past life. Forget the crimes. You heard him. He doesn't want to lock these criminals up. That's not what you want in office. Anyways, I look forward to hearing what you have to say. That's it for now. I'm out.